Hi guys, today I'm here to review another book, of course, and that today is going to be Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I'm really excited to talk about this book with you guys because I really enjoyed it when I read it a couple weeks ago, and I've just anticipated to sit down here and just spew out all my thoughts. But before we get into the book itself, I really want to talk a little bit about Riley Sager himself, because I've read a couple Riley Sager at this point, not a couple, just two. I've read Home Before Dark and I read The Last Time I Lied, and I was very impressed with both because I find that Riley Sager is able to write in such, he writes the stereotypical thrillers with the formula, but he writes them in a fun, unique, fresh way. At least that's the way that I feel. And so reading his books, I wondered, Riley Sager has only become popular in the last couple of years. How is he doing all of this? Like, how long has he really been writing? This is just so crazy to me. And then I looked him up because Google is great, and I actually found out that Riley Sager is the pen name for Todd Ritter. So Riley Sager's actually been writing for, I want to say, since 2010, and he actually has another pen name called Alan Finn. So if you're interested in Riley Sager, in more Riley Sager, you can go check out books that he's written under his actual name and another pen name. I don't know if they're necessarily thriller books. I know under his actual name, I think he wrote some crime fiction. So if you're interested in that, there's that. So he's been writing for a really long time. So he is talented and he knows what he's doing. So also, I just want to say that with the pen name Riley Sager, that's such the perfect name for a thriller writer. It just sounds good. It just rolls off the tongue well. Riley Sager. Am I even saying the name right? I don't know, but it sounds good like that. Anyway, let's get into Home Before Dark. Home Before Dark is told from our main character, Maggie. Maggie, I think at this point in time in the story when we first meet her, is in her 20s or early 30s. I want to say 20s. And she recently becomes the owner of this very big old house that is known for being haunted. People have died in this house. They've been murdered in this house. And she becomes the owner of this house because she's given the house by her father in his will. And her father and her mother tell Maggie time and time again, never go to that house. Stay away from that house. You cannot go there. The reason for this is because when Maggie was younger, when she was around 5, her and her family lived in this house, and they owned this house for a short period of time. After a couple weeks, though, they fled in the middle of the night because of unusual circumstances. Ghosts, really. And her father writes a book that tells of their experience of living in this house and what they went through. And that book, in a way, blows up. It becomes famous, and Maggie's life is just, from that point on, turned into a whirlwind, and her life is just completely just focused around this book, even though she doesn't want that, obviously. She herself has no memory of what happened during that time. Her only memories are those of what's written in the book, and she herself doesn't even believe what's written in the book or what her father, wrote. She thinks her father is a liar. So that's the premise of the story. Maggie obviously goes back to the house to she wants to redo the house, make it sellable, and then she just wants to, in a way, also kind of figure out if what she truly went through as a kid is what the book said, or if it's completely different than what the book said, So that's the story, and I don't know if you can really tell by the summary, but this book is clearly inspired by Amityville Horror, the Amityville Horror, and Riley Sager has a lot of little just things thrown in there that you could just tell that he pulled inspiration from, which I think is really great because this is a thriller, but at the same time he's pulling from this horror nonfiction sort of story. And so I found that to be, again, with this sort of story, really refreshing because it's kind of a book within a book, but then it's inspired by this ghost horror story, and so that alone had me so intrigued, and because of that, the experience of reading the book was well worth it. I just loved that so much, and I really want to get into, like I said, the writing. The writing, point blank, is just so enjoyable. It flows so well. Anyone can pick up a book by Riley Sager and just fall into the story. You're going to just have so much fun with his prose, with his characters, with the plot, because you're constantly constantly trying to guess left and right what is going on, and you're gonna try to guess what happens in this book, but honestly there's no way you are going to guess the ending. There's just no way, because I was hoping that there would be a supernatural element, but then I was hoping that there would be more of a real element, and then I was hoping for something else with the reporter, and so everything that I had plotted in my head that would happen in this thriller did not happen. So just know that if you love thrillers, I think you're going to be really well, you're going to be happy, because obviously the plot twist is the biggest thing, and if you can't see the plot twist coming, then you're gonna feel satisfied, right? At least that's how I feel, unless like you really wanted something else to happen, but whatever, it's fine. As for the characters, I loved the characters in this book because each one is so unique and different, and they're just fleshed so well. Maggie, you're just following her, and in a way she is a unreliable narrator in some ways, because young her is so unreliable because she just doesn't have those memories. And you know, the book itself is an unreliable object because we don't know, even though the father says that the book is true, you know that there's just no way that really happened, what the book says, that there were ghosts, right? So it was just really cool, and I love the book within a book kind of thing. The fact that this story is about a book that is about this event is just really, really cool. I love that, and I don't think this sort of like concept about a book within a book has been done in other things, but it's not really done well in my opinion, but this one pulls it off really well. As for, just the intensity and just the atmosphere of this book, it's honestly very spooky. It's not horrifying or anything. I don't think this is the book that's for like the straight horror reader in a sense, because you're not gonna have all these jump scares and gore and all this stuff. That's not what this book is about. It's a thriller book at a heart, so if that's what you're looking for, that's what you're gonna get. But it's so atmospheric, it's so spooky. This house is alive. The house itself is spooky and creepy because it's old, it makes noises, it has a history. That history kind of just, it's breathing, it's there, it's creepy. But it's more on the spooky side than the scary side. So I don't know, overall I really, really love this book. I love that it was inspired by Amityville Horror. I love the structure of it. I love the characters. I love the twists and the turns, and I was just such a huge fan of this story. So if you like, who would I recommend this for? Every thriller reader, obviously, if you haven't read this, but also if you're a horror fan, or if you are not a horror fan and you can't do scary but you can really do thrillers, this is easy fluff for you. But yeah, I would just really recommend it to everyone because I think it's super good, and I think that it definitely is one of those books that has movie potential. I would love to see this become a film because I think it would be super fun to see on the screen, and I don't know, I just really, really enjoyed it. It's a solid A in my book. I would give it like a 4.5 out of 5 stars if I had to give it a star rating. It was super enjoyable. The only thing that I wish this book was, it's a thriller, it's not a supernatural, obviously it's a thriller that's at the end of the day is about people, but I really wish it would have had that supernatural element. I was hoping for that. I was hoping for some sort of spook. I wanted there to be ghosts, at the end of the day I really wanted there to be a ghost story that was truly behind everything. Though that's not the case, it's fine because I was still satisfied with the ending. So that is Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. It was really good, in case you couldn't tell. I really, really enjoyed it. I think that's all I really have to say about this one. I really, really want to pick up more Riley Sager. Obviously, like I said, the only books that I read are this one, The Last Time I Lied. I think he has 2 other books. It's Final Girls and something else. You should recommend one of those 2 to me because I really want to read more. So yeah, that's all I really have to say for today. I'll see you in a couple days with another book review, and I hope you have a good one. Bye.